managing waste in a safe, secure, and sustainable manner is essential for the health and wellness of the people. In fact, nobody can deny that waste management has remained a major environmental challenge in most towns and cities across Nigeria, particularly in Ogun State. Indeed, professionals and policymakers actually agree on the vitality of strict policies and regulations as being essential components of waste management anywhere. In Nigeria, as in Ogun State, the problem of waste management range from poor collection and disposal methods to non-compliance of environmental laws. And this is why the state government and waste management authorities have embarked on various interventions to ensure that society can be free from waste and its attendant dangers to one and all. Observers will definitely recall the closure of certain markets within the state, among other actions geared towards compelling proper environmental and waste management practices among the citizenry. Some time ago, the Ogun State Waste Management Authority organized a stakeholders meeting comprising community development associations in Abeokuta North and South local government areas, which together make up the totality of Abeokuta Township or Metropole. Also in attendance were environmental health officers in the 2 local government councils and other top government officials. Special advisor to the state governor on environment, Mr. Ola Oresoya, explained that the meeting became necessary so as to spell out obligations of various stakeholders regarding sanitation and waste management.
We need to carry the community along in all our actions. So today's meeting is to apportion roles, what we expect the communities to do. We are communicating with the CDCs and the CDAs, and what we expect local government to do, and what they expect us to do in government, at the state government, and what we expect local government to do. So you can see the different levels of the consultation that happen. We have the local governments here, we have the CDA and the CDCs, and we have the market leaders, and we also have the state government officials that are here. And all we are doing is to talk about sanitation and waste management in particular. Sanitation both in the public places, the markets, public places, in our garages, and also in our communities. How we want to join hands together to make sure that whatever we are doing right now will make our environment to be a lot better.
Expressing displeasure over the dumping of refuse on roadsides and medians, Mr. Oresoya assured the residents of the hinterland of government's readiness to evacuate their refuse alongside the main streets.
We're going to have community boys that will be able to bring refuse out from those inner areas. So we'll engage the youths in those communities. So the days when truck will come, they will go around from, you have clans, we have a lot of traditional areas where most of them are settled in clans. So they will go within the area, bring their bagged refuse out and drop inside the van. So where there's a will, there's a way. So we are trying to channel a way out to make sure that we service everybody, both in organized communities and also in clustered communities. So everybody must get service. But the alternative is not to take refuse to the main road. We would not agree on that. Our public infrastructure is not dustbin. Our drainage is not dustbin. Our road, they're not dustbin. So we are not going to take it. And enforcement is starting massively. So everybody here, we have all agreed. Any market not cooperating, the market leaders have agreed on sanctions. The communities have agreed on sanctions. So the local government are ready for sanctions. And the state government will not shy away from applying sanctions where it is required.
Comrade Ademola Shodeke, who is president, Ogun State Environmental Health Officers, lamented the disposition of the people towards waste management.
Concrete meaning in forming synergy, having the Minister of Environment, the local government, environmental health officer, and the community in the same place to come together, reason together, and see how we can monitor the environment, prevent diseases, most especially the bad attitude of our people concerning waste management, throwing waste anyhow, dumping at the median, nonchalant attitude towards using the provision that is made by government for onto a day-to-day collection of waste from house to house, instead of them just throwing it anyhow. We call it cowboy dumping. Just dump anyhow, instead of you using the provision that is made by government. And the provision is very simple. The people will bring the vehicle to your house, they will pack it, then you pay token so that your environment will be clean.
Shodeke then mentioned the punishment that will be meted out to those who dump refuse indiscriminately.
A market that refuses to patronize those who are collecting refuse. It's very simple. They just need to close the place down, pending the time they will see reason to patronize government vendors. Then, in case of house, personal, private homes, the fine is there. They will be taken to the court, and the court will now place a penalty on them. The penalty, as I talk, is 20,000.
Chairman, Abeokuta North Zonal Community Development Committee, Mr. Kazim Ajagunjeun, said the CDC was now poised to give maximum support to government through sensitization in order to ensure a clean environment all around.
We just need to sensitize our people to sit up in order to make sure our environment is clean. Ogun State is number one in the entire country, and we just have to make sure we maintain that position through the health sector and through waste management. We are like little bride that nobody wants to hold on to. So whenever they come around us and they find out that we are not neat as expected, it will definitely affect everything, not just economy alone. And we just need to come together and cooperate and support our government for this lofty idea.
He then assured government of youth involvement in proper waste disposal and environmental maintenance.
The officers are not enough, and we in community, we have all these boys that are moving up and down that we can charge this responsibility. Even they will be glad identifying with the government and government extending one or two things with them and all that. And it is better for somebody that lives or resides in a particular community that has charged this responsibility. If you bring a foreigner or somebody that is trained there, whenever he is up, the working hour is up, definitely he or she will leave. But whoever that lives and resides in the particular community will definitely do it and do more and monitor whatever he or she might have done. Before you know it, the environment will be clean as expected.
Some of the community leaders present at the meeting expressed their views on waste management.
Tí wọ́n bá ti wá ṣe renovation lé gbogbo tó bá kó yẹn títí ìjọba wọ́n máa dá sí. Ẹ má jẹ́ kí àkọlé àkúrọ̀tì kó lórí àwa kúrúùtù nìkan bí báyìí, lórí àwa tá à ń gbé fẹ́sìmẹ̀ ẹ lọ sí estate tí ìjọba ní fún ara wọn, ẹ lọ wó bẹ̀ wọ́n nílé láti kó ẹ̀ṣọ́ lóde, ẹ jẹ́ ká kó ìpamọ́ra ọ̀wọ́n ọlọ́lá wa náà ká wo environment wọn.
And sanitation wa àwọn kan ní resist movement wọn àgọ́ sábẹ́ yẹ kálukú àwọn ọmọ àlọ́jà a máa sílẹ̀ káàkiri tí a bá tọ̀bẹ̀ kófin wà òfin ní ká má jáde ó ní iye ìgbà tí wọ́n ní ká fi ṣe èmi tẹ́ wo yóò ṣiṣẹ́ ìjọba ṣe àdáni wọ́n ṣe bófin bá pé àgbọ̀dọ̀ jáde ní òní jáde bọ̀tọ́ fi kẹbàrà pé oníkálukú lè ẹlẹ́dẹ́ mọ́lé òfin lòfin abáfẹ́ sanitation ká padà kó kálukú lókù sí ẹ̀.
Meanwhile, tragic incidences on building collapse have taken a disturbing turn in society as a result of non-conformity to best practices in building construction. Owing to this, the Ogun State government, under the watch of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, recently signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Building Collapse Prevention Guild (BCPG) Ogun State chapter with the aim of preventing building collapse in the state.
At the same time, we are going to stage the document and also append their signatures.
The event, which took place at the ministry's conference room, had in attendance the Ogun State Governor, Prince NTA Abeokuta, ably represented by the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Abdulwahid Odushile, Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Town Planner Tunji Odunlami, the National President Building Collapse Prevention Guild, Engineer Eddie Atumoyogo, directors in the ministry, and a host of others. The Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Town Planner Tunji Odunlami, said one of the policy reforms of the present administration at preventing building collapse bet the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding.
Very important are the many policy reforms across the board that form the bedrock of these physical development achievements. One of these policy reforms is what has birthed the event of today, which is the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the Ogun State government and the Building Collapse Prevention Guild, limited by a guarantee, but the Ogun State chapter. It has been established that collapse of buildings is caused by faulty designs, use of quartz rather than appropriate building industry registered professionals, both the design and construction of buildings and other structures, use of substandard building materials, unapproved change of design during construction, non-adherence to building approvals and permits, and cutting corners by building owners or developers to cut down on costs. While the challenge of faulty designs has to a large extent been reduced through proper vetting of plans during the permit processing stages by government regulatory offices, what has remained a recurring challenge is the building construction stage, where all the other illegalities are perpetrated. This speaks to the need for regular oversight supervision of building project sites by government regulatory agencies to discourage and necessarily sanction such illegalities. However, these agencies have come under very intense public criticism for their inability and lack of adequate capacity, indeed bordering on inefficiency, which has provided opportunities for virtually everyone that is involved in construction sites to perpetrate illegalities, from the owner, developer, to artisans, to material suppliers, and sadly, to registered professionals who owe the immediate responsibility and duty to ensure that such illegalities are not perpetrated.
Tunji Odunlami explained that government value the lives and security of citizens. Hence, the partnership between the government and Building Collapse Guild, a non-governmental organization, to find a lasting solution to the menace of building collapse in the state.
It is not unexpected that government cannot provide all the wherewithal for its building regulatory agencies to police all and every building sites which their responsibility entails. This has brought about the imperative for a collaboration by government with the citizenry through whistleblowing, but especially with the organized and recognized private sector professional organizations to fill the personnel and logistic gaps in its regulatory and enforcement responsibilities. This is what has brought us here today. As a responsible and responsible government that values the lives, safety, security, and economic prosperity of the citizens who are its much valued assets, His Excellency Prince NTA Abeokuta, MFR, Governor of Ogun State, directed me to look for solutions to the menace of building collapse and proactively prevent its occurrence in the state. In September 2020, the Ogun State government, through the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development and the Ogun State Building Production Management Authority, began consultations with the Building Collapse Prevention Guild Ogun State chapter. This group took it upon itself the social and civic responsibility of preventing building collapse and the attendant human and material wastages. It had hitherto been active as a whistleblower, alerting relevant government agencies of illegal buildings, distressed buildings, and use of substandard materials by developers and homeowners. It is this rich aggregation of professionals using the Ogun State chapter that the state government decided to leverage on to achieve its safer building objectives.
He highlighted efforts of the present administration in this regard, part of which included the establishment of the State Building Production Management Authority.
In furtherance of his commitment to a new development order in the state, founded on best practices, infrastructure renewal, expansion and upgrade, His Excellency in Council on 13 February 2020 approved the establishment of the Ogun State Building Production Management Authority, a special purpose agency of the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, saddled with the following responsibilities: implementation of building production management policies and programs, administration of building production in all its ramifications, including authorization of building construction, inspection of building production, including material evaluation and testing, state certification of building production and keeping of records, issuance of certificate of completion and fitness for use, registration and administration of accredited building production inspector scheme, promotion and organization of artisanal training programs, enforcement of the provisions of the Ogun State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law and Ogun State Building Production Management Regulations, surveys of building contraventions, stop work, sealing up and demolition notices, identification and removal of distressed buildings to prevent building collapse, removal of illegal developments and non-conforming buildings, conduct of research in building construction management materials and methods, establishment and control of district and zonal building production management offices, cooperation with the Ogun State Planning and Development Permit Authority to achieve zero tolerance of illegal developments, stakeholders consultations, enlightenment, and publicity. It is in the carrying out of these responsibilities, specifically the inspection and state certification of building construction, building material evaluation and testing, and identification and evaluation of distressed, dangerous, abandoned, and uncompleted buildings and structures to avert collapse that gave birth to this collaboration.
The State Director, Urban Development, Town Planner Rufus Talabi, had earlier informed guests that the collaboration between the state government and PCPG in preventing building collapse was timely.
The signing of a memorandum of understanding between the state government and Building Collapse Prevention Guild, BCPG, of the state charter, under the auspices of our amiable and articulate and energetic honorable commissioner, in person of town planner Olatunji Olusoga Odunlami, FNITB. This landmark's achievement is indeed a demonstration of His Excellency President Abeokuta administration, disposition and initiative to stem the tide of building collapse in the state. As it is the first of its kind in the built environment of Ogun State and in Nigeria at large.
National President, Building Collapse Prevention Guild, Engineer Eddie Atumoyogo, appreciated government for the collaboration, urging professionals in the building industry to comply with international best practices as far as building was concerned.
Prevention is better than cure. And by promoting these collaborative efforts between professionals in the state civil service and professionals in the private sector towards eliminating the ugly menace called building collapse, it will be a great mix of procedures, professionalism, experience, and knowledge, and Ogun State will definitely be better for it. To my professional colleagues in the state and in BCPG, your success will not be measured by the number of sites you seal. Your success will be measured by the number of sites you guide towards fulfilling every building regulation and law of Ogun State.
The state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, was honored with Advocacy Ambassador Award 2022 by the President, BCPG, Engineer Eddie Atumoyogon, who was represented by the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Waheed Odushile.
As the very first BCPG Advocacy Ambassador. And this is his t-shirt.
The Memorandum of Understanding assented to between the government and the Building Guild is another illustration of government's resolve towards ensuring safe buildings and habitations for the good people of the state, a great sign of collaboration between government and the governed, consistent with the Building Our Future agenda of the present administration under the leadership of Prince Dapo Abiodun. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, àjọṣe gbogbo wa ni.